Gavin, welcome to the Group X podcast, mate. It is nice to see you face to face.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, I've been thinking about this all day. In fact, the last week about jumping on board and having a nice little chat.
Mate, I'm excited by that because your energy already has just got me going, you know what, this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to asking a hell of a lot of questions that I know my listeners will be interested in as well around radical fitness, because here in Aussie, I think we know a couple of the programs, and I know from back in my early days in the industry, Keymax was one of the big ones that was here. But we'll roll down that in a sec. What I'd like to do first, though, is get my listeners to know a little bit more about you before we jump down that path. So if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the industry?
Well, I was lucky, I guess. When I was 15, about 40 years ago, I was asked to leave school because school and I didn't get on.
Okay.
It was just, I guess, the way they taught kids those days. It wasn't for me. And I was lucky enough, my father owned a gym. So he agreed to hire me as the cleaner.
Yep.
And so I spent my time cleaning, and imagine 40 years ago, we started as a cleaner, then we progressed to the gym floor instructor.
Yep.
And back then, the qualifications you had to do were at a university for 3 years, and it was a PE degree.
Yes.
There was no courses like there are today. So we had no qualifications. We just had I guess what we called common sense.
Yep.
So progressed from there, taking people through programs, and then stuck at that for about 6 years. And then one day a friend of mine said, "Why don't you buy the gym off your father?" And I know. And it was great because I was 21. And back there, when you're 21, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
So the first mistake was he said yes, and I went, "Oh, this is great. Okay, how much?" He says, "Yep, I'm going to sort you out. This is the price, but you must pay it off over 5 years." Oh, yep, that's a great deal. Bought it on the 1st of April, I think it was 1989.
Yep.
And then the very first bill came in, which was the rent. And that was a shock. So that was the start of my journey. And the gym I own, I guess it's like my firstborn child.
Yep.
I haven't had the guts to sell it yet. And since then, we've started another gym, built that up, sold that off.
Yep.
Got into the weight loss industry through a franchise called Healthy Inspirations, and
Yep.
we run that through New Zealand now, both on Zoom and in-house. And then approximately about 15, maybe 16 years ago, I went to a couple of courses and turned my mindset. Instead of working on reception or in the gym, I started working on the business.
Brilliant.
And that's where I am today. I very rarely get to go into my gym,
Yep.
but once a month I still go in there because I must say sometimes it's great to go and stand on reception, meet and greet people, and have a good chat.
Yeah. Mate, I like hearing the fact that you had that realization moment that you needed to work on instead of in. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of club owners out there that haven't got to that point yet. You know, I hope they get there, because it's amazing when you see that transition happen, how the gym evolves and how the gym changes for the better.
And that's right. Sometimes it's a push and shove type thing. I got to the point 16, 17 years ago. Listen, I'm enjoying it, but this is tough.
Yep.
I'm working, the gym is me. I'm working the hours.
Yep.
So I remember down to the last few dollars, I said, I went and bought a CD tape of some guru and put it on my credit card and thought, "Oh, this is brilliant."
Yep.
Listen to it, work on the business and all that. Then found out this guru, or whatever you want to call him, was still alive. So I went to his course, came back that day, hired extra staff to do what I was doing.
Yep.
And started working on the business. And then once we got there, 8 years ago, again, we were lucky enough to be put into a situation where we needed to evolve. And that's when Radical came along. Yep. And we were a license holder then of Radical.
Yep.
And the owners in Argentina said to us, hey, we love your business style. We love the way that you help us out. Would you like or mind taking over New Zealand and Australia?
Awesome.
And that's how we fell into the role there. And then just recently, we've taken over Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, and Malaysia.
Mate, that's an awesome story to hear.
Yeah.
How that right place, right time, everything had lined up for you to well done.
It's, I guess, one thing to always think of, and this is any gym owner, any group fitness, any group fitness manager, any cleaner, give more than what you expect back.
Yep.
So we would always give, or anyone, our members, more than what we expect back. And opportunities just sort of open up.
Yeah. So before Radical, what programs were you running in your gym?
So we were running Les Mills programs, and we ran them for 21 years, right back to when Body Pump 1 started.
Wow.
And our franchise fee was very little.
Yep.
Our license fee is very little, very like
Yep.
four cups of coffee, little. And then, we grew. I mean, so we've been through all those phases, and then the opportunity came along to try something else. I guess it was forced on us, but try something else because everyone around us were just doing the same program.
Yeah. Yep.
And we thought, well, let's take this opportunity that's been forced on us and try something new.
Yep. No, you know, I that's part of why I started this Group X. Podcast and the whole website and everything was to share with clubs out there, especially in Australia, because Australia is very Les Mills dominant. But my thing is to let instructors know if you've got the shits with what you're doing, there is something else you can do. Don't just sit there, bitch and whinge and moan about it. Have a look at other programs that are out there. Not only that, clubs. If clubs are doing the same as everybody else, then there's no point of difference. What's your point of difference? Oh, but it's our community. It's, you know what? Every single club says it. So it's not really your unique selling point. Your unique selling point is having an offering that the club down the road doesn't have. And to me, part of that are different programs that you can have. So the fact that you saw that, the fact that your business model allowed you to look at putting other programs on as well. Yep. Even though, yes, as you say, it was forced in that way, but still it worked out. Worked out beneficial for you, obviously, in the long run, because of where you are right now. So it's like, thank you so much for my hand being forced there. That's brilliant. Look at what other programs are there, and obviously, Radical was the opportunity, was the choice that you went for at that stage. What can, if you don't mind me asking, if you can cast your mind back, what was the point of difference that you saw between what you had been, the programs you had been running, and the Radical programs when you first put them on?
Okay, so the point of difference was, basically every club to start with was doing the same around us within a 15, 20K radius. And that's what everyone knew.
Yep.
So the point of difference was like a barbell class. So we have a class called Power. I guess people know programs of barbell class or pump or body pump. Okay, so our point of difference with a Power class is we treat it more like a personal training session. So unlike some programs out there, they've done the same structure for 80 releases or so, and they've changed it a little bit. We have 4 structures within that Power class. So when you come up, you won't get the same warm-up, squat, bench, deadlift, tracks in there. We will mix it up, big muscle groups, small muscle groups. So we akin it to like a personal training session. Okay. You can come on a Monday and you'll do this formula. You come on Wednesday, because you don't want to come Tuesday, you come Wednesday, you'll get a slightly different workout, working the muscles differently, which keeps it interesting for you.
This is the Group X podcast. How did your participants and how did your members react when you put a new program in that was foreign to them?
Okay, now that starts from, as you know, Tony, it started from me.
Yep.
Okay, so if I went in there and moaned that I had to do this, or had the slightest thing that I didn't like the new programs coming in, that feeds from me to my group fitness manager, to my group fitness instructors, to the members.
Yep.
So it started with me. We realised that. So when we swapped over and telling, gee, all these instructors that have purchased music through Les Mills,
Yep.
and we were swapping to Radical, we had a wine and cheese evening. They thought they were coming to a wine and cheese evening
Yep.
at the local bar. And I was doing just a little presentation like I do. And then we put this on them. We said, listen, we have to change our programs because we've been told to. Okay? It's not our choice, but we're going to do it. But we have researched the latest programs out, and we've found something that you guys might like.
Yep.
And then we showed a couple of quick videos of these classes. And the best thing of all, we are going, now, as a smart club owner back then, I thought, we will pay for their certifications. Because my instructors were loyal to me.
Yeah.
They weren't going off teaching everywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. So we paid for their certifications. And then, not only that, back then we were still on CDs. We provided them with 5 back releases.
Brilliant.
Now it's changed. We can do more than that. But so that got them on board, the instructors on board.
Yep.
Then we invited our, what do you call them? You call them the hairdresser type members.
Yep.
Now, not downgrading hairdressers, but when you go to a we don't. But when you go to when we go to a hairdressers, what do? They talk all the time.
Yeah.
So we invited our hairdressers, best club members that we know that have been with us for years, to special classes. And we let them into the little secret, and we did those classes. And then we said, don't go and tell everyone. But that was the cue. As soon as I say don't, what's going to happen?
Yep. So true.
So true.
Yeah.
So they went out and they told all our members. So that was the changeover. We got excited about it. Once we did those classes, we marketed it like anything.
Yep.
And then we just kept going from there, kept the training going from there.
Yep. That's nice to hear that you implemented it in that way. I know that clubs, and it's the right way to do it. Yeah. Starting from the top. Yeah. As you said, starting from you as the owner of the club, as the manager of the club, and feeding it down the line. I think some of the clubs here in Aussie, and if they're looking to just take on additional programs, will probably come across those instructors that will poo-poo any other program. Yeah. And that's going to happen straight up because that's just the nature of instructors, mine's better, blah, blah, blah. And it was the conversation I had last night with someone especially was about instructors these days compared to instructors, say 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When I first became an instructor, it was a tap on the shoulder. Hey, I think you've got what it takes. Yep. That's not happening much anymore these days. A lot of instructors, for whatever reason, are very guarded. They don't want to bring new people in because they're threatened that new people are going to take their class away from them, whatever it may be. So we've lost that next influx of instructors coming through. I think instructors need to get the chip off their shoulder and realize that, one day they're going to stop. And if they really care about the club they're working for, they need to start getting new instructors coming through that they can train up and get ready to go. So flipping that around is, I think that if instructors here in Aussie especially are poo-pooing other programs, they're poo-pooing their own job. Yeah. They're not going to help the club whatsoever. And I'd say that if Group X managers or club owners are finding that or hearing that when an instructor brings on a new format or a new program which is designed to help the club, then you need to have a really good look at your team because you don't have team players sitting there straight up.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're right. 20 years ago, you could pluck people off the floor.
Yeah. Yes.
And some club owners would use it as a fear tactic. We would clubs would continually train people to keep their top instructors as good as they were.
Yes.
And say, listen, if your KPIs, your numbers are not up there, I'm training these people. And then it sort of got I think it happened in Australia as well, it got out of control where instructors weren't loyal to one club.
Yes.
They would train and then they use it, I guess, as their full-time job. I don't know how. I mean, yes, I've done 4 classes probably like you in a day because I had to cover.
Yep.
Now, hips and knees are paying for it now, as you know.
Yep. Yep.
So there wasn't that loyalty. So what we've tried to do is, because there is an instructor shortage since COVID
Yep. Yep.
across a lot of industries.
Yes.
A lot of the great instructors decided, well, maybe it is time to try something else. They've been in the industry years. I've had a 3-year break because of COVID. I'm not in the best shape. So now we're trying to encourage clubs to go back to, I guess, the old way. Grab some people, train them, make them exclusive to the club. So you're going to step up as an owner or a group fitness manager and say, listen, if you stay exclusive, I'll put you on a first aid course.
Yep.
I will even, if you keep your numbers up at a certain level, I will even pay for your releases.
Yeah.
And it's working with club owners and group fitness managers to see a different way of thinking instead of, well, this is the way it always used to be.
Yeah.
I could just look for an instructor, put a sign out on, or put something on Facebook, and you get 10 replies.
Yeah.
So it's about the instructor looking after the club and the club looking after the instructor.
Yes, got to work together in a hand in hand. It's you can't have one without the other. If you do, your club, you may as well shut your doors because your club's going to turn to crap anyway. You know, you don't have the right people, what I call the right fit. Yeah, you don't have the right fit in your club, whether it's them fitting you or you fitting them. You've still got to fit together. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Yeah, it's one thing that I was chatting to recently. I think it's one of the posts I put up on social media recently too. Was but we're not every single instructor is fit for every single club.
That's right.
And instructors, I suppose, Group X managers that are employing instructors without seeing them teach or without having that instructor come into club to even audition. You know what? Teach this class for me tonight. It's an off-peak time slot. Teach it. I want to see how you interact with the members. You know what? Yeah, there probably only will be 10 people in the class because I'm not going to put you on a Monday night peak class because, you know, my instructor's there and my instructor's fine. There's no issues with that. I want to see how you engage with these members to see whether I know that you're going to be the right fit, but also to give you an opportunity as an instructor to see whether you like this club, to see whether you like the members in this club, to make sure that we gel together. Because then if you do, brilliant, you're on and you're probably going to get some more classes because that's what I want on this timetable. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because, I mean, we often go and do some training with some clubs and it starts at reception and then it moves into the group fitness room. And we ask the group fitness instructors, what makes a bad group fitness instructor?
Yep.
And they go, oh, they turn up just on time. Well, how do they get to know the members? They have never practiced anything, or they're using music that they love, which is 6 years old.
Yeah.
Because it's their favourite release.
Yes.
They haven't scoped out what the club's member base is. Is it 50 to 65-year-olds? Is it 18 to 20-year-olds? They just turn up and put whatever on. Yeah. We've seen it. And something that really, really narks me is on some, not your Facebook page, but some Facebook pages, you'll see, I need a instructor tonight for 6:15 pump.
Yep.
Anyone will do. Yep. Just come and take the class. And I go, hang on, how can you do that to your club, to your staff, to your members?
Yep. I was guilty of that. And I put my hand up and say, you know what? Yeah. Back when I was Group X manager at North Sydney Fitness First, I didn't give a shit. Can you teach? Brilliant. Get in there and teach it. You know, that's my job's done. Tick a box. Yeah, cool. Yep. That's all. It wasn't until I left working for Fitness First and I started working for Les Mills and I started traveling around New South Wales and WA and chatting to clubs that I took the blinkers off and realised there were more clubs out there than Fitness First. Yeah? That's all I was inducted to when I first started. Yep. Then you know, there's over 3,000 clubs in Australia, if not more now. That was what it was back then. But that each club does things differently. And that's when you realise that as a Group X manager, you need to have your finger on the pulse the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, Gavin, I know you can teach 6:30 tonight, but are you the right fit for my club?
That's right.
Cool. Thank you. You're going to get me out of a pickle, but at the same time, have I just done the right thing by my members or have I done the right thing by my club? Because you could be an awesome instructor 15 kilometres down the road, where the demographic is different. You walk into my club and I could have, as an example, let's just say they're all 30-year-olds or, somewhere between 25 to 35. But your members are in the 40s. And you come in and try and teach the same way to your members, but my members, and there's a clash. I've done the wrong thing. I've done the wrong thing by you as an instructor because I've put you into a situation where it's made you uncomfortable. But I've also put X amount of members in front of an instructor that probably wasn't the right fit for it. So
that's right. And how many members have you lost because of doing that? And you don't know. Because, sure, the odd member will come and tell you that instructor, whatever.
Yes.
But most members will just vote with their feet and ring up and
I think
cancel.
I think for chains, it can be a bit different. I mean, if you're working for a chain in Sydney CBD or any CBD area for that matter, and you're an instructor, you're probably going to be working on multiple timetables anyway for that company. But when it comes down to an owner-operated club, that you don't have a chain, you are the club. You have your instructors. If your instructor is also teaching elsewhere, yes, cool, okay, they may have to because you can't offer them, $100 a class. You're still on $45 a class or whatever it may be. Whatever rate is the rate. Yeah. But you've still got to have that point of difference with that instructor, but looking after that instructor, but making that instructor the right fit, and having, guys, yeah, cool, great to throw it out on a Facebook page or and God, need an instructor for tonight. God, no.
At least put out, I'm looking for a pump instructor or a body pump instructor or a radical power instructor for this type of demographic.
Yes.
At least go that little step further.
Bit further. Yeah.
And that will make you as the group fitness manager or the owner just look that little bit more smarter than the other one down the road.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not just throw someone on. Just do the little things.
The sad thing is I think that a lot of Group X managers, and I've said this many times, a lot of Group X managers don't have the right skill set to be a Group X manager. Yep. They're lacking that managerial side of things and that knowledge side of things. They're, cool, I can cover a class, I can do the timetable, I can do the pays, I can write numbers in the spreadsheet, whatever it may be. Tick, tick, tick. That shit, as I've said many times, should be automated, should be something that's done on these things these days.
Yeah, 100%.
So that they can actually do other people's classes. They can actually assess their instructors. They can stand at reception. They can, as you said, swipe people in, say good day to people, do all that extra stuff, which makes them stand out as a Group X manager when they need to be doing more than teaching. They need to be doing more than being the best instructor on the timetable.
Yeah, I agree with you because you've put it in a real simple term. The stuff that they need to do, like fill a class, do the stats, do the wages, that is management. Yep. So that's why we call them a group fitness manager or a group X manager, okay? What they really need to be called is group fitness leaders.
Yes.
And it's a leadership skill where you are not, the instructors are not working for you, you are working for the instructors to bring the best out of them.
Yep.
So we, in any of our titles, we try and replace manager because that's a physical thing you have to do to get right. And it's anyone can be trained in that.
Yep.
But leadership skills of teaching them how to visually cue, how to kinesthetically do things, all that, how to praise when praise is needed and not held back, or when they need to be told off or said, hey, this isn't working.
Yep.
And a lot of managers hold all that for 3 months until they do a QC on you, and then they spew all these things you do wrong.
Yeah.
Why not, as a leader, go up to them right now and say, okay, that was a great class. Here's 1 or 2 things you could work on.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, as you know, leadership management.
Yeah, I had, it was funny on one of the posts I put up the other week, there was someone that turned around and said, a Group X manager that doesn't teach, shouldn't be in there assessing my class. Now I let it go because I thought, Tony, don't, because you'll open the can, and then it'll just explode into World War VII.
Yes,
we'll skip all the others that we haven't done yet. It's going to be massive. And I thought, okay, I'm going to let that go because you don't need to be a Group X instructor that's currently teaching in order to go and assess someone. You don't need to be someone that's that I've never taught yoga. I understand the basics. I've never taught it, but I could still go in and give someone some feedback. Yeah. Yep. These instructors think, well, you're not trained in my program. You wouldn't be able to give me feedback. You wouldn't have any idea. If you're the right manager or the right group exercise manager that has the right skill set, You can give feedback to anyone from a janitor
Yep.
to the CEO
Yes.
if you have the right skill set. If you don't have the right skill set, 100%. 100%. And that's when I'd say to clubs, let's have a look at it. Who have you got in charge? Who's running your department? Do they have the right skills? Or are they just the best instructor that you had? So you went, yeah, default, you can do the job.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
and it's a total different skill set.
Yes.
It's like, say you were a good chef, all right, and you know how to cook and everything. And often the chefs get this wrong. They go, I'm a good chef. I'm going to go and buy a restaurant. And then suddenly they realise, shivers, I have to lead staff. I have to replace staff. I have to train staff. I have to tell staff off. Hang on, I want to go back to being the best chef out.
Yep.
They sell their restaurant and go back to what their core business was. Same with group fitness, as you said. They will get their best group fitness instructor because they've got the numbers. They must know what to do.
Yep.
But it's a different skill set. And as owners and anyone in business, we do that to them.
Yeah.
We set them up to fail because we haven't given them the leadership courses to do, or leadership skills.
Yeah.
Again, that comes from top down.
This is the Group X podcast. I'm going to get you back on the show because I want to talk to you about Group X management, and I know that there's a lot more in that brain of yours that I'm going to get out. We'll park that for now. I want to go back to Radical. I want to go back to the programs to get that on board. Can you tell us how many programs do Radical Fitness offer?
Well, there is 11 programs. I should say 11 programs that instructors can teach.
Okay.
There are another 4 or 5 programs that are on our virtual system.
Okay.
So
different.
So it's like having a big screen in your group fitness room. So that's our virtual system and we just added an extra 5 programs like yoga.
Okay.
Things like that, or senior yoga. So we have 11 programs. So each program is slightly different. Some of the programs you do is like your original group fitness classes. You're in time with the music.
Yep.
Okay, so pretty simple to do. Then there are about 5 programs which the music is in the background.
Yep.
And you do, because it might be a HIIT program or the Keymax program, you don't do it in time with the music, you do it at your fitness level.
Yep.
So if you want a harder workout for Keymax, which is our boxing program on a stand-up bag, you can do it either slow, at your pace because you're starting out, or you can do the punches harder and faster.
Okay. Yep.
And you don't have to be in time with the music. Now, that's good for instructors who, or even PTs who do not have rhythm.
Yes. Yes. And yes, there's a lot of us out there. Well, not myself, but a lot of instructors out there that don't have rhythm. A lot of PTs especially can count reps, but when it comes to the rhythm of music, I can't find the beats of the music and the phrases and the counts and all that kind of stuff. So that's nice to hear.
Yeah, so they are great because they, as we talked about management and leadership, they are great leaders.
Yep.
But they had no program or no structure to follow.
Yes.
So that's why we've got because HIIT became very big, so we designed 3 HIIT programs, and you do it at your pace, at your speed, at your level, with a variety of options from the leader or the group fitness instructor.
Okay, so there's HIIT programs, there's the power program, which is like pump, as you said.
Yes.
Yep. Cycle program.
There's a cycle program called Top Ride, and I'm a bit biased now. I mean, I used to teach RPM. I started RPM, I think it was 2.
Wow.
So you imagine how long ago. In fact, we were practicing on life cycles, the big life cycles of the big seats, before our spin bikes arrived. So we're practicing on that. And when we changed over to Radical, because RPM was the only program at that stage, Top Ride was great because we had 3 different formats.
Okay.
So we have what's called a climb day.
Yep.
Which is pretty obvious. You're going to do hills.
Yep.
You have a race day, which is obvious, a little bit more sitting down and a little bit faster paced, but It's not loose. It's still got a lot of resistance on there, so you're not bouncing around.
Dancing. Yeah.
Okay. And then we have a full day program, which is a combination of them both.
Okay.
So the instructor certifies in top ride, and they get to teach in all three programs.
So how does that work with music then? Would you just focus on Top Ride for a second, if you don't mind? How does that work? So you have a new release that comes out, and how often do the releases come out as well?
We do, because we've got to do 400 songs, because we've got 11 programs. It comes out every 3 months, every quarter.
So it's every
Same
quarter.
as Lesmos. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it comes out quarterly, and with Top Ride, there's. Does that mean if you've got 3 different formats in there, that there's 3 different releases that come out?
So we rotate it. Obviously, a race day comes out, then a full day comes out 3 months later.
Okay, righto.
But in saying that, our music, one of our things about the music, we use it intelligent music format, is what we call it, IMF.
Yep.
And this is where the music is designed to our routine.
Okay.
Instead of designing, okay, that's a great song, let's put the exercises, when the beat goes up, let's stand up.
Yep.
We've done it the other way around. We remix the music to fit our formulas.
Ooh.
So you can unplug racing, some of the racing tracks, and put them into a full day track.
Oh, I like this.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So and a climb day, you can take some of those climbs and put them into a full day, and vice versa.
Yep.
Because of the intelligent music format. Not every track can be pulled over.
Yeah.
But you can do that. Yeah.
So how would that be programmed on a timetable? Can you give us an example on how that?
Yeah. Now that depends on, again, the group fitness manager. Some group fitness managers like to put it on the timetable. Okay. This is a climb day, top ride climb. This is top ride race day. This is top ride full day. Yep. So their members know. And there are clubs that are very successful that do that. Okay. Yep. But those are the clubs that generally have more top ride classes than anyone else, because they can offer the variety.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you're running only 5, 6 classes on your timetable, we don't suggest that. Yep. We suggest that because out of all those 3 formulas, all your members will not like every single one. Like there'll be members out there that don't like race day.
Yep.
Okay. There are members that don't like climb day. So we suggest leave it up to the instructor, as long as the instructor doesn't teach climb day every Monday at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Because it's their favorite. Yep. Leave it up to them. The members come in and they get a workout.
Yep.
And they just before class, place it on. So it really depends on what offerings or how many classes you can offer.
Yeah. No,
I've seen it work both ways.
Yeah. No, it's a conversation I had recently with another organization that we were chatting about comparing a group exercise programming to similar to CrossFit. Yep.
Yes.
So CrossFit has the workout of the day, and you're doing this, and then tomorrow it's going to be this, and what have you. A lot of Group X timetables are just, here's our timetable, that's what it is. And so Monday night's the same thing, and Tuesday night's the same thing, and Wednesday morning's the same thing, and that's what's always going to happen. Now, the instructor gets to change the format, they get to change the music and get to change whatever it is, but members coming in are just like, yep, cool, that's exactly what it is. The conversation that I had with this person was in relation to why can't, especially in a cycle environment, I'm just using that as the example we're talking about now.
Yes.
Why can't that be prescribed for your members? And there's no reason it can't be.
That's right. And you use the word prescribe. Okay, because yes, we are doing the exercise with them, for them, giving them the best possible result. Yeah. Like in our club, we get we say to our personal trainers, the best way of you keeping them as a personal trainer as a long term is give them stuff they can't do by themselves.
Yes.
So you have to be there, right?
Yep.
Sidetracking a bit, but prescribe a top ride class once a week.
Yes.
Prescribe a body pump or a power class once a week.
Yep.
Then they see you once a week.
Yep.
Because you're the professional. So when we go into clubs, that's the sort of coaching. We're not telling them to do it, but we're just giving them ideas how it could grow their business and keep their member longer
completely.
not going, oh, here's a homework program, do it when you're not with me.
Yeah.
And then the member realizes, I can do this by myself. Why am I paying 50,
Right.
60 bucks for a personal trainer?
Yeah, I'll just come and see you every 3 months and I need you to
That's
write my
right.
program for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a conversation I had with Tavita, the last episode that just went out.
Right.
With regards to if PT's programmed group exercise into what their clients are doing, one, the club's going to have more attendance for group exercise. Classes are going to be fuller. You're going to have more, as we know, members are engaged. If they're coming 2 to 3 times a week, you've got a really great engagement with your member who's going to stay longer.
Yes.
Yep. And not only from a PT side of things, but also when that member comes in to join your gym, you take them on what I call the museum tour, which I really can't stand.
Yes.
I'm going to show you this, show you this, show this.
Yeah.
Stop, have a conversation with them first and show them what they need to and what they're interested in. Don't give them the museum tour of everything and that's a water fountain and that's this and whatever. Yeah. But sit down with them at that stage and ask them the right questions to find out what the hell they're joining your gym for or why they're interested to join them. And then if they do join, prescribe group exercise classes for them. Here's your routine.
Yeah.
This is, you've said you want to achieve this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Cool. Well, you've told me you can't come in on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Brilliant. These 4 days of the week, here you go. This is what you need to be following. With that, if you're prescribing, as we're talking about, just prescribing group exercise, you can fit them in because you know what's going to be happening on certain days. As you're saying, every Monday could be a climb day. Every Wednesday could be a race day, and every Thursday could be a full day. And that changes then every 4 weeks or however it needs to look for you and your members in your club. But the fact that you can actually prescribe that and do those changes mixes it up even more than just, oh, well, I'm going to go back to release 25 today. Tomorrow we might do release 67 and we might do release 42 over there. Well, yes, that's great because the music's different. How about a different workout using the same apparatus?
Yeah, that's right. And to take it just one little step further, we've done this in our club and suggested it to many clubs for the personal trainers and frontline desk or front desk or whatever you want to call them, receptionists, whatever you want to call them, have appointment cards where you physically write down Tuesday, 6 p.m. top ride.
Yep.
The client is far more likely to turn up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a proper appointment, especially in the introduction and all that, when you want them to try things like introduction programs are great. Find out they like group fitness. Great. Well, let's make a time for you to come in and try it.
Yeah.
What time did you say? Great. What class? Excellent. Here you go.
Yep. No, I like that. I like that a lot. That actually, especially for a cycle format.
Yes.
Anyway, what are some of the other formats that you run?
X55. If I explain it, the easiest thing to say, step aerobics with a little bit of difference, okay, with our flavour in there. But for the listeners to understand, everyone knows what step is. Yes. Okay, so that's X55, which stands for Extreme 55 Minutes.
Okay.
And it's U-bound, which is taking off hugely and has been in a lot of the Asian countries where you're on a U-bounder and you're jumping up and down, or I shouldn't say jumping up and down, you're bounding.
So we're talking the little trampolines.
Like a little trampoline, yeah.
Okay.
Huge. In fact, we were at the World Summit 3 years ago. No, it must have been a little bit longer, three and a half years ago in Taipei, and we set the world record, 600 U-bounders, U-bounding at the same time on a second floor of a building. I was standing in the middle taking photos, and this building was going like this.
Excellent.
It was amazing. But yeah, U-bound, so it's very low impact, adrenaline high, a fantastic program. Then you come to Fight Day, which is your combat, your body combat. In fact, the founders of Radical Fitness, Natha and Gabby, they designed Body Combat 1.
Yes. Yep. I've heard about them. I've heard of them. I've never met them, obviously. Yes. But wow.
So that's where it all started from for them. So that's Fight Day. Well, then we have our yoga cross Pilates program, which is called Oxygeno.
Okay.
So
Yep.
it's those two formulas, but we've added in a breathing aspect to it
Brilliant.
to
Yep.
get people to breathe properly, because
Yep.
so many people shallow breathe.
Yeah.
So we get them to breathe properly.
Breath work is massive here in Australia at the moment. It's popping up everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
unless you're living under a rock, you haven't seen the social media stuff that's going on about it.
that's right.
It's huge. So that's
Yeah,
nice to hear that that's being involved in that stuff as well.
yeah. And then we have Mega Dance, which has got it's your shabam, it's your body jam, it's your Zumba.
Okay.
That Latin American we have. In fact,
Yeah.
that's got two formulas. It's got freestyle, where the instructor can make it up, and then it's got copy, do the video, and watch
Cool.
that. And
Okay.
that is hugely popular overseas as well. Not so much popular here in New Zealand or Australia
Yep.
at present. And then our final program, believe it or not, is called 11, because it's our number 11
11.
program. Yeah, 11. Now,
That's awesome.
11 is a
11. Yeah.
yeah a 30-minute hit program,
Okay.
which
Cool.
is not done to music.
Yep.
It's all those animal flow type and body weight exercises,
Yeah.
warm up. There we have what's called a joker in there. So the program, you go as hard as you can, but if you find you're going too hard, you pull out the joker, not literally, but in your head, and you stand there and you calm yourself down. When you are ready, you put the joker away and you get back into it.
I like that.
Then there's a minute breathing, recovery. Then you go hard again for a shorter period of time. Then you either pull out the joker if you need to, breathe again. Third section, you do the same thing again, and that's your 30 minutes done. And that's a great program where you don't need any coordination.
Yep.
You just need great, and I mean great, leadership skills.
Yep.
Because if you let your members use the joker too much, they're not getting a good workout.
Yeah.
You've got to inspire them, as you know. You've got to inspire them to just work that much harder.
Yeah. Yep.
Than what they would if they were by themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the programs, and all those programs are available as instructors, but also on our big virtual screens, and also on what we call our Radical Home app,
Okay.
which is available for instructors to record themselves,
Yep.
and then charge participants to
Ooh.
do the exercise at home. So unlike a lot of apps where you can only do the programs that
Yeah.
the franchisor says, we let the instructors upload their own Radical programs that they teach and any other program they teach. And they can deliver it, then have a subscription to their friends, family, whoever they want on Sell It as their own app.
Oh. So you've just set my mind going nuts with that, and I think we need to. You're definitely
Park that, because that.
Yeah. There's a whole. I can see there's 2 hours of me asking questions on that topic alone.
There is a whole business.
Yeah.
Whole business on that, and it's the same with Radical Virtual. Now, Radical Virtual is great for clubs when they cannot get an instructor.
Yes.
At late notice.
Yep.
So we can put a power class on. We can put
Instead of putting a
X55
Facebook
on.
group to say, "Hey, can you come and teach?" And I don't know who you are.
Exactly, and we've done the same thing with the virtual, where you can record your own instructors, because they're your instructors,
Yep.
and place it on our virtual system, so the members are still getting your instructors.
Oh, mate, that's gold. We'll park that.
So that's another conversation.
We're definitely going to go down that one again. I'll get you on, and we will definitely discuss that, because there is legs in that Aussie clubs need to take on board. Yeah, there's been something that I'll touch on just briefly. Something I've been talking to clubs about for a long time since COVID ended, not ended, but lockdowns ended and clubs are able to come back. You've still got members that want to be part of your gym, but still don't feel safe for whatever reason, especially now in Aussie here, where winter's coming. I'm noticing more and more people starting to throw masks on again, whether that is because they're protecting themselves or protecting me, whatever it may be. I'm grateful they're wearing them, but there's still those that would love to get to Gavin's Wednesday night 5:30 class, but can't because Gavin's daughter's not well or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
bugger. But if I could do it online, because, you know, that I'm not going to get there, I'm going to be 20 minutes late. I don't want to walk in 20 minutes late and go, oh, that's crap. But if I could get home and know that I can still do Gavin's class because I know that on the not live, I was going to say that, but the on demand or
on demand, yeah.
the virtual content, I can still do Gavin's class.
Yes,
That
and
is powerful.
And you can do your favorite instructor
Yeah.
that you are connected to with the club.
Yeah.
That's the point of difference of the club. It's like we have members who move away, but they love this instructor.
Yep.
So we say, well, sign up to their instructor Radical Home app. You can still get the same thing. Plus, on there, now and then, they do live classes as well because it can be fed straight through.
Can be streamed through. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to discuss that more. But I love it. I love the fact that that's happening. Yeah, I think that's the next evolution, the next step.
This is the Group X podcast.
With relation to the programs and licensing, can you give us a bit of an understanding? Is the licensing held with instructors or is it held with club level, or how does that work?
Both. So I've just confused you.
You have a little bit. That's
Both.
right. I know you're going to explain it to me.
Yeah. So we have clubs that have been with Radical for a long time, and like me, they at my club we wanted exclusivity. That was one of the best things when I started Radical. We could have exclusivity zone of 25k a day. So I wasn't going to get another club open up down the road, take my instructors or members going, oh, they've got Radical as well. So there are still clubs like that love the exclusiveness.
Yes.
So they are the ones that really look after their instructors. Okay. Then we have the more favoured option, particularly for small towns. Like you might have an instructor way up in Perth, and we were looking at doing a certification up there. They said they were in Perth, but it was still an 8-hour drive from Perth.
Yep.
So we have a license for instructors as well.
Okay.
So that is called a roaming license. So that means they can teach at any club unless there is a club with a license in that area.
Yes.
That's exclusive. And that means they'd have to teach at that club.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense.
That's why I said both.
Yeah. No, look, it makes sense. And I think there's more of this, like some of the other program providers that I've chatted to recently, that seems to be where things are headed as well. The license isn't just with club. The license is with the instructor, so the instructor can go and teach it anywhere. MetaFit was one that was talking about, and so is Shift Fitness as well, where the license is actually with the instructor who's done the training, and the instructor pays for it all. And if a club does want some marketing material, they can pay a small amount in order to get the marketing material to help promote club, but most of that even comes from the instructor anyway to pass through to the club to say, hey, here it is, we've got it all for you.
We provide all the instructors, so we go straight to the instructor.
Yep.
To give them the marketing that comes out every 3 months. So the videos, the posters, not so much posters, but posts to use, because it's the instructor that's enthusiastic about the programs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
A lot of, I won't say a lot because I'll get a lot of phone calls about this. A lot of gym owners just want to put group fitness on, don't want a group fitness manager. They don't have the budget. They don't really like group fitness. They were a personal trainer that ended up buying a gym. They don't care. As long as someone turns up to take that class, I don't want to have to print a poster up or even design Facebook posts. So every 3 months, we will give the gyms and the instructors, here's 25 Facebook posts about Top Ride. You don't even have to think about it. Here's 25. Just take my name out, put your name in, put your club name in, and use them.
You've nailed something there, which I think is a brilliant thing that I'll touch on it quickly because I've seen obviously working for Body Bike, bikes, whether they're sold to a club, sold to an instructor that's really passionate, and they're the ones I'm going to talk about. An instructor that's really passionate that turns around and says, I'm going to open a cycle studio. Brilliant. Cool. And as we touched on just earlier on, because you've got all the passion in the world doesn't mean you know how to run a business.
That's right.
I've seen so many get in there and 6 months later, they're ringing me to say, oh, do you buy bikes back? We shut at the studio.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
same with as we're talking about with the having the license to the instructor. Great because the instructor can then teach at a club, but also great because the instructor then can do their own self promotion within club. That when they come to that environment, as we're talking about, that PT that opened up that just wants to focus on lifting heavy stuff and train people over there, but that room over there that I'm paying for, I don't care. I just want someone else to take care of it.
Yes.
They can. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
giving them the tools where they can actually get someone in there to go, instructors, promote
Exactly.
your own stuff.
And that's what I like about the business side of things, working on it. What can I do for instructors to make them successful? So I'm working for them.
Yep.
So whether they use the 25 posts, I don't mind whether they use 5 or 10 or none.
Yep.
But here is 25 posts you can use for the next 3 months about how to get people into your class, your top right class. Here are 5 competitions you could run over the next 3 months to engage your members. It's not just about selling licenses anymore. It's about helping clubs. I like to use radical, but helping clubs to make more money, because that's ultimately why they're there.
Yep.
But give them all the tools to do that, right down to training their reception staff on. I mean, I don't know how many clubs I've walked into, because I'm in this bad habit. I just like shopping clubs. I'm walking past, I go and I'm going to see what their staff are like.
Yep.
I'm going to see if they're friendly. I'm going to see what they know. And I go and, tell me about this power class or this top rod class or body pump class or Metafit class. Yeah, it's held in that room over there. Okay, but what do I do?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a video on our website.
Yeah.
And we've got gyms. You laugh, but it's happening. You got gyms, and the staff don't know what the class is about. So we set up. Luckily, with the way software is these days, we can give software to gyms to tell them about our programs and make it part of their induction. We laugh about it, but people are losing sales because of it.
Mate, I do recall the early days, 2003, 2004, you know, I'm sitting outside of a studio, Soul Studio or Pump, whatever it was I was about to go and teach, and you'd watch the membership consultants bring someone on the museum tour, as I call them, you know, showing them, you know, everything going on. And, that in there is a cycle class. Yes, it's loud and it's intense. And they're moving on. It's like, okay, it's loud and it's intense.
Yeah.
So where is the benefits, the features of what that class is? And let's have a look at the 4 different programs or 5 different programs we're running in that room.
Yeah.
As a membership consultant, why don't you know every single one of those programs? Why don't you know the format and what the benefits and features are to be able to sell to that member? Because I'll guarantee you, if you know your shit, not knowing your shit is knowing your shit, but no, if you know your stuff, if you know your stuff and you're able to sell it to that person, your sale's done.
Yes. And if you're in commission, as most salespeople are, a smart salesperson would go to the Group X or to the owner and go, I need training in this.
Yeah.
Because I need to make more commission, or I want to make more commission. Or if you don't believe in money, which is a bit strange, I want to help more. I want to help more people get fit.
Yep.
There you go. That's for the nice people that don't care about money. I want to help the world by getting fit with radical programs. So I'm going to train myself in them. And at least in the first 6 weeks of working on frontline or a salespeople, at least go and do some classes so you know what the feeling's like. So it's a lot of training we do, not just sell you a license or the instructor their license. We try and really work with gym owners and their staff.
There's a lot more. Sounds like there's a lot more back end or back of house stuff that you give clubs as well to make sure that they're going to be successful.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it's about giving more than what they expect.
Yeah.
So they're getting more than the licenses. They're getting more than instructors. They're getting ideas that they can use or not use.
Yep.
We don't mind if they don't use them, but we're going to keep giving you these ideas every 3 months.
Yep. Now, I've got a silly question, which I'm going to ask. And everyone says to me, Tony, there's no silly question. And I think it's a silly one because I recently had a chat to someone and told them that you and I were going to be having a chat. And they said, radical. Yeah. I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. They said, that's isn't that the program where as an instructor, you can follow the choreo if you want, or you don't have to. You can make it up yourself. And I said, I don't know. So here's the question. As an instructor,
Yeah.
do I need to follow the format or can I just use the music and make it up myself?
Sort of. You can't make it up yourself. So yes, all instructors can just copy and do it as is.
Yep.
But in the certifications / workshops, we teach you how to modify and replace that exercise for an easier one,
Yep.
for the medium fitness people, and for the extremely fit people.
Perfect. That makes sense.
Okay, so it's plug and play.
Yep.
Now, why do we do that? Because we realise I talked to you about different demographics before.
Yep.
Some clubs are 18 to 35. So most of the time, you're going to be here. Some clubs are 50, 60 or 70-year-olds, so you're going to be here.
Yep.
Some clubs have 9:30 in the morning.
Yep.
My club's full of mothers and all that.
Yep.
Yes, some are extremely fit, some aren't. So you offer both options.
Yeah. Yep.
Then at 5 o'clock, I have the 18-year-olds coming. I can do that. So no, you can't make up your own to the music, but you can pull from the extreme, plug it in there, and give you options. So being an old Les Mills instructor, it's probably changed now, but back then, the way we did RPM, we had to turn it up when they said turn it up on the video. We were trained to do that. So this gives you flexibility to look around at your class and go,
Teach to who's in front of you.
Teach to who's in front of you. Exactly that. You took the words right out of my mouth. Breaking into
I can see it in your mind. I was like, "Yep, there it is." What was you about to say? But no, look, thank you for clarifying that because that made sense. And I was today, especially, has been running through my head. It's like, why would they design a program that's pre-choreographed if you then turn around and went, well, you can do whatever you want? Doesn't make sense. You'd just be like, well, I'll just go and buy my own music and do what I want anyway. Why would I be engaged in that way? But what you've just explained makes sense of being able to tailor it to who's in front of us so that you teach to the room. Yep. You guys over here are my keen beans and I know I can smash you. However, Auntie Doris over there, you need to be doing the lower option. So I'm going to teach to both. And I think it's great that the programs allow that instead of just going, here's one level, let's go. This is what
and it's designed by the master trainers or the program directors. So the plug and play stuff has been designed properly, not just made up.
Yeah.
It's been designed with science behind it. Yeah.
So choreography, when it comes out, as you said, it was coming out every quarter. Yep.
Yes.
I'm not going to say DVD and CDs because that doesn't exist anymore, does it? So we're now all on digital format. How do instructors get their kits? How is that delivered to instructors?
Yes, it's directly to their Radical Trainers app on their phone.
Yep.
It comes out, as I say, 3 times a year. All they do is you can play it. The videos can be downloaded and can be streamed.
Yep.
The music can be streamed and downloaded. We do not suggest that you try and stream your music teaching a class.
Yep.
Because of bad Wi-Fi.
Yes. Yep.
So we always, and I get the question once a week, my app stopped. What's wrong with the app?
Yep.
And the first question is, did you download the music? Oh, no. So download the music. You can make playlists within the app. So you can take a portion of release number 50 and put it with release number 49.
Okay. So when you're saying download, they're downloading it with the app. They're not downloading it outside of the app and then making a playlist in Apple.
That's right.
iTunes.
No, it stays within the app.
Yep.
The app is even clever because of the licensed clubs. We can even tell where the app's being used.
Wow. Okay.
So it has that ability, which is great for a business for us.
Yeah.
If that club needs more instructors and all that, we get and the latest release, which is helping us grow, it's giving us stats of what instructors are playing and what they're not playing, what songs they are using,
the back end
how many times.
That's interesting. That gives you an understanding from a business perspective what's hitting the mark and what's not. And what you may need to look at or what demographics are. That's really interesting.
What songs are popular? What artists are popular?
Yep.
All that. So that's just that's only been out about 9 months, but the stats behind it just incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the things that it's proven to us, you've been an instructor for a number of years. You're passionate, but you're not passionate about learning new stuff all the time. It takes time to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
And you find those instructors, their classes start going back down. We can then go into the back of the app and go, well, hang on, you haven't taught any of the latest releases for the last 8 releases. Do you think that might be a reason why your classes will start going down? In fact, you've taught release number 45 for the last 7 times.
Yep.
How does that work for your members?
This is the Group X podcast.
Yep. It's interesting. I like that because there was a case here in Wollongong where I live, the south coast of Sydney, that a club down here had said to me, "Hey, Tone, we're really struggling, and it was all the new releases where the members just weren't gelling with the new releases." And feedback I said was, go back to the old stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Go back to the old stuff where they know your members are in there between their 45 to 65 age bracket. Of course, they're not gelling with the latest music, the new stuff that's on there. It doesn't fit with them. So instead of just doing all the new stuff, do most of the old stuff and drip feed the new stuff in every now and then. It turned around and membership, the attendance went through the roof.
Yeah.
The club turned around and said, "Oh, thanks so much." And I said, "You just need to look at it from a different perspective sometimes to again teach to who's in front of you, but make sure the music is relevant to those in front of you." I think that's also, as you're saying, there's great feedback for a program provider to be able to see that as well, where you guys would be able to turn around and go, "Oh, what's happening down here in the gong?"
Yes,
Gives you an opportunity to chat to the club to say, "Hey, what's happening? You know what? Your instructor all of a sudden has gone back to all the old stuff. What's gone wrong here? What didn't work for your club that maybe we can take on board to look at?" But also for the instructors, it gives you an idea to go, "Hey, what's going on?"
That's it. And it gives them a chance to give us, we can see the stats, but if they know of a song that they like or a song's being used all the time, we can reproduce that song, because some of the 80s and 90s stuff is really good. So we find out they use it. Well, let's reproduce it at a different speed for a different program.
Yep.
And re-release it. Or in Top Ride, there was a release that was on 25. People just loved it.
Yep.
We just released it again with a different format.
Yeah. Yep. Now, on that as well, while we're talking about music, is it... Because obviously in Australia here, there's the one music license and it's PPCA free and original music and all that kind of stuff. Is it? Can any club? Okay, let me ask that question again. Does a club need to have a license in order to play radical music?
So you have is it One Music over there, same as us?
Yeah, One Music. So you've got to have. It's either got to be paying a license to play the original artist, or if it's PPCA or cover music, then you don't need a license in order to play.
We have PPCA, so yes, you have to still pay per class.
Yep.
But it's lower than the original music stuff.
Yes, yep. You've still got to have a license to play music in your venue, but you don't have to pay for the additional original. Yes.
Correct, 100%.
Yep. Okay.
So that's the way we do it. So just to save them, because my bill alone's about $5,500 a year.
Yep.
For that, and I don't mind that, as long as every club around me is paying that.
Yes. Yeah.
We're all contributing. Every cafe is contributing. So I don't have a problem with it, because these singers have got to make money. The writers have got to make
100%,
money.
100%. I remember back in the late, God, it wasn't even 2010. I'm going to say it was probably just before that, where it really smashed us here in Australia. It just turned overnight. Virtually, it just felt like, all of a sudden I've got one release that I can play. Yeah. I might have had one track from there and one track from there, or unless I did Body Attack, then I had more. If I had Body Step, then there was a whole lot of programs, a whole lot of classes, because it was all, done in that way. But a lot of the programs that I was teaching were original artist stuff. And because the chains over here turned around overnight and said, well, no, we're not paying the license fee, you can bugger off. Yeah. It really changed. I mean, some of the music that was coming out was atrocious.
Yes. Everyone went through it, and we all tried. But it's got better over the years with the better singers. And all that. We have a studio where we record them all in the States. So we get singers in to record them. So it's pretty close here. Yeah.
That's nice to hear as well, because I think that's even more so now. Music is it's vital, isn't it? It's vital to a class. If the music's not right, you're losing a certain percentage of what you're trying to achieve in there.
That's right. It drives you. It drives members. It pulls you up. It pulls you down. Makes you happy. Makes you sad.
Yeah.
The emotion of music used right can deliver a fantastic, great fitness class with the right leader in front. Yeah.
Yeah. Now on to training.
Yes.
Where can instructors find training courses here in Australia? Are there training courses being run at the moment, or how is that all looking?
Yeah, okay. So we offer, obviously, we do Zoom training as everyone else does these days. And we do live instructor training. So if a club comes to us and says, hey, I've got X amount of instructors, and then that's generally a minimum of 4 instructors, we can send a master trainer to you.
I've got to say straight up, I love the fact that you've said 4. Yep.
4. I mean, we don't need to make money out of running the certification.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to do the great certification so the instructor stays with us for a long, long time. And same with a club.
Yep. It's probably a silly question. Do you have master trainers or trainer presenters based here in Australia?
Yes, we have 4 top class master trainers in Australia.
Yep.
In fact, I was interviewing them today about the new certifications that they got coming up on Zoom and we call it in-house at a club.
Yep.
And we keep it to a small team because then we can quality control it, because our training is a minimum of 2 days. Some programs are 3 days because we can't see how you can get an instructor up and going with all our tools within 6 to 8 hour course. That's ourselves. That's our belief. Yes, you can teach them the formulas. Stand up, sit down. Do this, do that, do that. But when it comes to as simple as, let's put a mic on, set the volume up correctly. Now, how are you going to welcome your class as they walk in? Where are you going to stand? Where are you going to get to at the end of your class? We want them. We don't want to set them up to fail. I'm not saying others do, but we like to. That's why they are a minimum of 2 days, 8 hours each day. Because there is, so, as you know, I mean, when you do your RPM, I'm sure it wasn't a short course.
No, 3 days.
For 3 days. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So now with the power of technology these days, we are just working on the 5 programs that are 3 days to merge them into 2 days. But you will have to do an 8-hour module, 6 weeks out, 1 hour a week or 1 hour and a half a week, which is all the boring stuff, finding out about how did Radical Fitness start? Who's this? Who's that? Why do we do it this way? And all that. And you'll answer questions. And if you get those questions right about that module, it will drip feed you to the next part. Brilliant. You'll need to pass that before you can turn up to a Zoom or a live certification.
It allows you then to focus on the nuts and bolts of the real stuff you need to get them. There's more, through this series that I'm doing at the moment, there's more and more of that I'm hearing, which I really enjoy hearing. You know what? Before you turn up to a weekend, before it's the Zoom that's going on, you need to have done this module or this part of whatever first. It gives you the basics to understand. You also mentioned something there that I think I was never taught on any of the trainings that I've done. How to put a mic on, where to stand, how to control that stuff. There's no course that I've ever done that anyone has ever said to me, hey, Tone, this is how this is and this is what. The Group X manager showed me, and it was, God love Shannon. She gave me all the tools I needed, and would not diss that woman in any way. She'd probably chase me down. But, it was those things that it's not taught, You get the it hangs up over there, the mic's in there, and there's your volume. Go for it.
And do I need to bring a battery, or does the club supply a battery? Just silly little things. I mean, you and I probably taught back in the early 90s, 2000s without microphones. So we were talking from here. But there's, even these days, you got to teach someone to talk from here, because if they're screaming like this into a microphone, it's a different type of class. So voice projection, but still using a microphone. And it's all those little things that takes an okay instructor to becoming a fantastic instructor.
It's funny. You've just reminded me of something then when you've said the talking from here and that kind of stuff. I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Shannon. If it wasn't Shannon, it was Andrew going up to the field in North Sydney Oval, because that was one thing that I had a problem with, because I'd come from a corporate world where sitting in a boardroom of people, you know, you was having a conversation. You didn't need to project. What projecting? What do you mean? What's projecting? I remember going up to this football field with them, and whoever it was stood down the other end and said, "Right, you're going to have a conversation with me." I was like, "But you're going to be 100 odd meters away. What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But it made me work out where my teaching voice had to come from, which was a completely different place in order to project to get that across.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. It's
Again,
so important because
so-
tonality, even tonality.
Yeah.
You know how you can make someone excited or you can make someone totally bored, and the tone the speed I mean, I'm not doing this on purpose because I'm bored. But the speed is as you know, because you're a great group fitness instructor, you know when to get excited when the music gets excited.
Yeah.
And that's why we say it's a 2-day course minimum. Third day is coming up where you can, or the first day, not the third day. The first day will be, you'll be able to do it online.
Yep. And how is certification done? Is certification done on that last day, or is it got to send a video in at the end of it? How is that process?
Yeah, now the master trainers can pass you on that day.
Yep.
If you've ticked every box. Maybe you've been doing group fitness classes in a gym, not teaching, but you really know the rhythm. Maybe you're a drama teacher or a drama student who's been taught all these visual auditory cues. Okay, so you can pass on the day. And then there's the option to send us a video within 6 weeks.
Okay, brilliant.
To pass. Now that's probably 40% of the time.
Yep. Cool.
And to be honest, they become great instructors because they go back and they practice.
Yeah.
Not like the old days where there was a club of chains which is no longer with us. They used to send their receptionists to do a certification, and they'd never done a group fitness class, and they were the receptionists, and they had to do this course in 2 days, and then they had to be teaching on Monday. Now you can see why that club's not around anymore.
Yes. Yeah, there's a reason. Yeah. No, look, I that's nice to hear, especially with the certification, that there is a certification process that they've got to go through, that, you know, you need to be ticking boxes, obviously, like with anything. We need to make sure that whoever does whatever course, whoever's going to be in front of our members is doing it safe and effectively.
Safe, you've just hit it, safe and effective.
Yeah.
Know the rules.
Yeah.
And that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think it's a topic that still today is very, very relevant, from clubs that send instructors off for training, that expect them to come back, and as you said, someone like teach on a Monday morning, but also, well, you've come back from training and you're still shit.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. A weekend module, 16 hours maximum that they've gone through over a weekend does not create the best instructor ever. Unless that instructor's been teaching for years and years and years, and it's just a new program, you know what? They can probably fumble their way through on a Monday.
Yes.
They have the skill set to go, I screwed it up a bit, but you know what? I've got the basics here and we can work on that. But a brand new instructor doesn't have the skill set, doesn't have the tools to do a weekend module and come back in club and be amazing. If you are God, I sound like I'm preaching here, but I'm going to keep going. But if you are a club that sent someone off to do training, make sure there's a mentor system in place. Make sure there is some onboarding system for your instructor as well, to make sure that instructor is not set up to fail.
Yep. I agree with you 100%.
As you as a club is working with that instructor to make sure that they're going to stay an instructor, want to continue being an instructor, love what they do. Because if you tick all those boxes, I'll guarantee you straight up, group exercise is going to go through the roof, because you've got someone that's passionate about it. You've worked with them. You haven't set them up to go, yeah, cool. Oh, you've got, Jesus, I'm not doing your class.
And that's it. And that very first class can make or break them forever.
Yeah.
If they come in too early and the class, I mean, you know what it's like. Sometimes your members know the routine better than you do. Now you're brand new. Imagine that pressure. Oh, that person's up. Maybe I'm supposed to be up. And you're thinking, oh, I've got to keep them motivated. What do I say next? Oh, what's coming next? All those things are firing through.
Yeah.
Now, in an ideal world, you would do the certification. You would then invite, and this is an ideal world, invite some friends to do a class, and you ask your friends not to be so nice in giving feedback. Yes, you can give me a couple of things I did well, but you know what friends are like, oh, yeah, you were great. Oh, it was fantastic. No one learns from that. But you got to ask the right question to your friends. Okay, yes, you said I was great, but this is a great question. What are two or three things I need to work on?
Yeah. Yep.
And that makes a great instructor. They go, well, you just need to actually look at us.
Yep.
Because I felt like you were looking over us.
Yep.
So clubs, yeah, as you said, do set them up to fail to start with.
Yep.
But if you take that time and integrate that program, team teach.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably were around when we used to do that, team teach.
Yep. Yep.
So you got the pressure of one track.
Yeah. I mean, I've shared with the guys on this podcast before, but for the first 12 weeks, I was only allowed to do one track.
Yeah.
Shannon had me on the bike next to her. She'd teach everything else, but track 5 is mine. And I wasn't allowed to move on to another track until I'd nailed that one. Now, I appreciate
100%.
that big time because, while I can never teach that track ever again in my life and I can barely listen to it. And I think anyone that was in my classes back then is the same, like, Tone, no, don't ever play that if you get on the bike and teach again. Don't.
Yep.
Yeah, there's part as well. But at the same time, it got me to nail it and understand it before I then moved on to something else. You know, I still one big thing that I'll say, it pisses me off to no end. Instructors go to a quarterly workshop. They finish that workshop at 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon. They're in club teaching it at 7 o'clock Monday morning.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. Yep. Stop. Your trainers and presenters that have presented that workout to you have had that release for at least 2 to 3 months. They've learnt it. They've understood it. They've gone over it and over it and over it. You don't need to be the first person to teach it come Monday morning or come Monday, whatever day that week. Sit at home, learn it, let it sink in, let it be right in your mind and with what you need to do before you get in and teach it. And most clubs these days give you at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Exactly, yes.
Before we even want to try and release it in club to make sure you've had time to do it.
And at least when you're driving, like you said, you're driving 45 minutes the other day to the office, at least play your music while you're driving. So you're subconsciously getting in it, because group fitness music is remixed. It's not the same as what you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
So do that bare minimum, but no one should try and go, well, yeah, I know the moves that are going to go here. Yes.
That's
again comes to the owner. Owner's level.
One thing that would make me cringe big time is there was, even some of the chains, some instructors like, oh, I'm going to be the first to do it. No, you're the first to make yourself look like an idiot in front of your peers and in front of your members, who your members are going to go, oh, that was really crap.
Yes.
If you actually spent some time and learnt it, you could probably walk into that club and your members would be like, oh, we got the new release today. Oh, cool, I'm really excited. You walk in being excited as well because you've nailed it and you know it. Well, let's say 90% know it, because you're always, the first time you teach, you're always going to screw something up for sure. Yeah. And then realize, oh, no, I don't do that. And then you get it right moving forward. But, get it right, do it right for your members and give your members the experience they should be.
Fantastic. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's take a step back. That's what I say. Take a step back. And it's amazing how many clubs don't, and because they're probably not the type of owner that doesn't like group fitness, that's just on. They don't like promoting launch classes. So we do our best. That's why I say, here's the tools to the instructors. Do your own launch classes.
Yeah. No, I love it. Gavin, I've taken up an hour and 20 minutes of your night, and I'm seriously better off for it, because I know a hell of a lot more about Radical than I did, from the start of this conversation and from the research I've done, and I'm hoping that a lot of the listeners will understand a bit more about it as well, and we'll actually go hunting and search. As I said earlier on, Key Max was the one that I knew about, and I'd heard of Top Ride in the past before, but knowing that there's Megadance, there's Oxygeno, Fight Dough, the others that you've got as well, I think is fantastic, and I definitely will be putting it out through my social media stuff as well to try and promote it. But from me to you, if I can help in any way with Radical here in Australia, please reach out and let me know what I can do for you. But mate, thank you so much for coming on and chatting.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, for doing what you're doing, opening up the industry. I mean, knowing a few weeks ago when we first chatted about coming on, and I learned about you, I'm going back to your very first podcasts and listening to some of them with in mind, if I just get one thing from this and I implement it in my club or through Radical, you've helped us out. So, hey, thanks not just helping me out, but helping the whole industry out. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.